Greetings all! This is Justinian the Great with Sam the Car Guy, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
Good to be back.
That was a nice piece of work.
This time, we're gonna take, sorry to interrupt Bentley talking, but this time, he's just telling us we can watch all the cutscenes where we are. This time we're gonna we're gonna start the first world, and start looking at the first member of the Fiendish Five. But first we're gonna take a look at Murray.
One of the things I always liked about this game is the Fiendish Five is always kind of referenced as a character in the game through all the games.
Mm-hmm.
In the fourth one, you have...
The road trip gave me the time I needed to study up on Sir Raleigh the Frog. As a young man, this hot-tempered frog grew bored of his life of luxury and privilege. On a whim, he tried his hand at a bit of piracy and found it to his liking. Raleigh, who quickly became addicted to crime, was brought into the Fiendish Five as chief machinist, where his evil tinkering genius rose to new heights. The last reported sighting of this mad machinist was off the soggy coast of the Isle o' Rath, a small island uncomfortably situated in the middle of a perilous Welsh triangle.
In the fourth one, you have clockwork kind of thrown out throughout the entire series. Now, I always loved this set of levels because for some reason Sir Raleigh is just one of my favorite first villains. Just his entire backstory makes no sense.
Guy goes from, rich life to pirate life. Yeah, I will say my favorite set of levels in this game, though, Ms. Ruby.
Yes.
Ms. Ruby probably the strongest, really the strongest level designs too. Like this one, this level right here, this set of levels right here. One thing I didn't like is you won't hear me complain about backtracking a lot, but in a linear game like this, you have to backtrack a lot to get to the vaults.
Yeah.
Speaking of the vaults, here's our first clue. Like when they put the vault at the beginning of the stage.
Ah, yeah.
They did that a few times.
They did a little bit in 2 too, where you, like, if you don't think about it.
It was at least open world though.
Now, one of the things I didn't like about the clue system with this game is how blatantly obvious they were. Like, let's just put 2 clue bottles next to each other.
Well, that's cool. That's fine with me. Because they did have some clues that were just a total bitch to find.
I mean, like in Mr. Weaver running from the freaking
monster?
Yeah.
Yeah. That, and there's this one level, I think it's in the Panda King stages, Flaming Temple of Flame. I will always remember that.
Flaming Temple of Flame.
I will always remember the name of that stage. Not only because of how stupid, dumbly named it was, but also because of how much of a bitch it is to find all of the clues.
One careless step and you'll be subjected to acute combustion.
You done whining? Let's go.
I'm just trying to keep you alive, partner. Fortunately for you, I launched these signal repeaters throughout Raleigh's fortress. Get close to one, and I can checkpoint your progress.
Nice.
I was gonna say something before Bentley started talking, but I didn't know what. Oh yeah, so the Flaming Temple of Flame. That's a great part where he's like, my new move, Fist of Fire. Whatever it was. Or like,
Flame Food.
Yeah, Flame Flu. No, Flame Food. Flame Flu, that's like what you get when you get the virus. Oh, I got the Flame Flu. I'm in pain.
You know, a lot of people said this. You know, I realized that this game is difficult when you're young,
Machine than a hideout.
but when you're an older,
That is a storm machine. It's the reason why it never stops raining around here.
That explains all the.
I
red
try not
shirts.
to.
But why would Raleigh want bad weather at his own hideout 24/7?
Beats me. But rain or shine, I'm gonna steal my family's book back. And if Raleigh gets in my way, it's on.
Sir Rayleigh Logic. I'm a pirate. Pirates like rain. Let me make a whale-looking ship that makes it rain. We won't get into the physics about this whole thing because let me tell you, it doesn't just happen with a reverse tornado that makes a freaking rain cloud. That's not the way that this works. I mean,
Nice job so far.
I really don't care if we talk during this section. It's just it's more tutorial crap.
though if you're new to the game,
Yes.
played it before.
Jump and hit the circle button.
Pretty much, yeah.
The circle button does everything in this game.
And back to the system. Hey, hit the circle button. Sly's like,
What the
Bentley,
hell
what
is this?
drugs are you on? We won't even talk about how those things are working. Like if you look at them, which you're not going to. Really? Okay. That's jacked up. But like, there should be a central shaft that keeps these things in place. So they shouldn't be offset like that. And yet they are.
I mean, they could be if they are, if they're molded that way.
Yeah, but if they were molded that way, then one of them would go up and down, and they're sitting flat. So like, as they rotate,
Yes.
it just.
Or you know, the holes in the middle are huge. And what?
That could be it. You just
Yeah.
missed a bottle.
I got it. I get all the bottles.
Sure.
Yes. I see. I
Like
skipped.
this. That makes no sense on the way that it's rotating.
Hmm.
But then again, I'm questioning a video game that was made 20 years ago.
It's about 19 years ago. It's a 19-year-old game.
Really aged well though for that.
Yeah, I mean, we are playing the HD version, but it's still really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they can pretty it up and it still looks good enough for modern standards, you know. I mean, all of the Sly Cooper series is a series that they should have continued, but Sucker Punch just left them behind, and then Sony said to Sanzaru, after like sort of positive yet slightly mixed reviews of the fourth game, they said you can't make any more Sly games. Sanzaru already has had plans for 5.
See, I would have liked a game that went back towards their orphan days.
I would have loved an Origins game, yes.
A baby Sly game. Because, I mean, this game does kind of give you the whole backstory as to what happened to his family with the Fiendish Five murdering his parents.
No, that one doesn't really make sense at all. There's no way to make those 3 rotating just now. There is just no way that's even possible.
Like I said, now, I mean, I love how...
Unless they're on their own rotor. Unless they're each individually on their own rotor.
Yeah, but then what's keeping them at that position of the river? You'd have to have a shaft that runs through, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah. But you were saying? A baby Sly game?
Oh yeah, so the game does a pretty good job at kind of telling you...
For some reason I had a hard time with this double jump.
Now might be a
see
good
that.
time to mention that hitting the X button
There you
twice
go.
will
Now
give
you-
you an extra
It took me...
flip.
But you were saying... Oh,
Blimp looks like the
one
most
thing.
secured location on
This
this
is
planet.
actually important.
If Raleigh's really as smart as his police files suggest, then that's where I'll find him.
Wonderful idea, but your plan is flawed.
Why?
Because it's impossible to get near him. To access Raleigh's blimp, you would have to sneak through that high voltage power tube. To do that without getting electrocuted, you'd have to destroy that power generator. And to do that, you need 2 more of Raleigh's treasure keys, which are heavily guarded.
Interesting. So when are you gonna get to the impossible part?
Fine, but I warned you. I've marked the areas you need to hit with holographic markers. Follow them to your objectives.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. It's your funeral.
Freaking I Immortal over there. What was I saying before?
Baby Sly game. Oh, by the way, I already have a lucky horseshoe from collecting coins.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You also got
Wow,
him that
you
way.
found a
It's been a
lucky
long
charm.
time since I
That'll
played this game.
protect you when you take
You just
it
have to know how to farm coins, you know?
I was never farming. That's why I don't do Bitcoin. I don't farm.
I don't do Bitcoin because it's not tangible.
It was if you bought it like 10 years ago.
I mean, it's not actually physical. Like, in a post-apocalyptic world, it would be worth absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And then here's the other fun, you know, the life thing. You have 6 tries before your game is just completely going to restart. I always hated that about old games.
And here we go with the first level. Yeah, and honestly, I'm glad they got rid of the life system. I'm totally okay with the health system.
Yeah, health. I mean, that makes sense. You need to have something.
Jump and press the square
That
button.
balances the
That'll
difficulty.
slam them shut.
But the lives, but honestly, you can farm lives very easily in this game, so it's not a big deal. Believe it or not, every time you come in and out of a level, there are like 4 lives in this level that will reappear every time you come in and out of this level. Oh, by the way, first clue that I had a bitch finding.
Eureka! We're in the engine
You
room.
had a bitch.
My analysis tells me that if
You had a female dog while you were
all the way back to
like.
its source,
That was a bitch to find. There was a bitch to find. It was a bitch finding that clue. That clue was a bitch to find.
One of the things I liked about the second game too is they made it harder to kill the
Enemies?
Yeah, like it was too easy. Like one hit and they're gone. Man, like, I never enjoyed
Combat in the first game.
Yeah, just because it was, I didn't enjoy it because I mean there was really
Nothing to it.
yeah.
Wait for them to be open and then hit them. That's all it is.
Because one of the things I truly enjoyed about the second one
Was combat?
was the combat, especially when you snuck up on them, because then you could just keep hitting the triangle button and you keep them suspended in the air. There was one time I was so bored between playing the game because I didn't really have anything to do that day that I pretty much walked the entire level just hauling a guy up and down until I got, like, I walked the entire level. I walked from one side of the level of Dimitri's layered outside Paris to the other side, just up and downing a guy. And then when I got to the end, I did it. I did a triangle, and then I delayed my square, so when it hit him, it knocked him out and threw him off in the water, and he died.
Oh god.
But I was like, that was entertaining. You couldn't do that with this game.
They were, I mean, to be fair, they were just starting out, so.
It also, the game was like semi-open world.
Yes.
Sly 2 was a little bit more open.
I will say that my one and only issue with Sly 2. You had to actually replay the game to replay. There's my first health notch. You're about to see another one in a second. And the fact that you had to actually replay the game to actually replay the missions, individual missions.
Yeah, that was a bad design. I mean, like, there was no...
They fixed it in 3, but...
Because then they also let you, like, free roam afterwards. So, I mean, you could go and do whatever around the levels.
Mm-hmm.
But there was really no reason to, unless you just wanted to play around. I mean, it was always fun to kind of use the power-ups you would buy throughout the game.
My favorite... I'm going to tell you about my favorite thing to do with the power-ups in a second. By the way, another dumb...
Physics thing?
No, another dumb mistake.
I also love the physics behind how those pipes are staying supported in air.
Yeah, I love the semi-open worldness of the second Sly game, and they did have, I mean, it's not like there was nothing to do,
Yeah.
you know? And I did appreciate that there wasn't nothing to do. I stayed on that way too long.
Yes, you did.
I could have taken it after I dropped that second clue.
I like how you dropped the second. I mean, you're just taking your sweet little time over here.
And believe it or not, this might actually be the fastest I ever finished this game, because I was actually able to jump over that last laser I was actually...
The real question is, we can actually go get the bottle you lost.
I'm going to get all of them. I prefer to drop them down. During that one bit, I prefer to drop them down.
Yeah.
Just in case. See, just in case, if you miss a jump there, you have to replay the level over again in order to get all of.
Yeah.
If you miss a clue there, especially if you miss the ones suspended.
Mm-hmm.
I will not lie; it's a total accident that I found the very last clue in this run.
You accidentally found something that you were looking for.
I mean, it's accidental that I didn't have to go backtracking.
Got it. Yeah, I've had to do that quite a few times in some of these games.
The one thing I never did, and the one thing we're not going to do for this run, is the time trials. Did you ever do those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing those. I realized they did that to be like Crash Bandicoot, but Sly Cooper is Sly Cooper, Crash Bandicoot is Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I never played Crash Bandicoot, so I've never...
Well, Crash, with Crash, they gave you an actually decent system to do the time trials, providing you don't die because it was such a freaking hard game. They actually gave you an excellent system to do the time trials, and that was, they gave you the Crash Dash as a power-up during the third game, which is arguably the best Crash game. And the Crash Dash essentially makes you run really fast.
One of the things I love about that one little section right there when the Bentley was talking is like, you can't go through this furnace, Sly. Well, I don't think anybody wants to go through a furnace.
And... oh wait, I actually did have to go back down there.
Yeah, because of safe.
Yeah. We are doing 100% vaults though, which, you know, the one thing, if you remember playing through this game, there is one vault that you actually have to go back to after the game's finished.
I never did that part. So
You actually had
to
to
beat Clockwork, I was done.
You actually did, according to your trophy list.
Oh, I guess I did then. Okay, so I guess I've played through this game twice then, because I played it once on PlayStation 2, and then I played it once through on PlayStation 3 when I got the greatest hits.
The Sly Collection.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I always loved the oil sludge buildup on that particular piston.
I played, believe it or not, when I really truly earned a true love for this game was that time you and I were talking, and it was like after this might be a little personal for you two, but after you while you were talking to me after my ex broke up with me, and you suggested I go play through the Sly games, and I said, well, I guess I'll play 2 and 3, and you said, play 1. That time I played Sly 1, I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was good. See, I'm farming lives here, by the way.
I see that. You're a life farmer. Like like our friends from, where were they from? Nigeria, that like to scam people out of Bitcoin money.
Mm-hmm.
The introduction to the flashlight card.
Mm-hmm. By the way, there's a Lucky Charm over here if you need one.
I think I've used that Lucky Charm many, many times.
And I'm back to... no, wait, I'm still on silver.
Yeah, you got hit twice.
Yeah, I thought I might have gotten enough coins to get back to gold, but no. This was probably one of my favorite levels in the game.
High class heist?
Yeah, I mean, to me it was the most... I think it's meant to be your first level. You weren't supposed to go to that one on the side first. I think you were actually... There I get the gold back.
Now it's neat because this kind of goes back to Rayleigh's heritage.
Yes, yes.
It's still weird though that there's this rich guy who gets bored of being rich. But I mean that makes sense though. I mean when you have everything, it gets boring.
I've always said that the whole, I've always said the whole idea, I used to think the whole idea of, the just, you watch The Big Bang Theory, and if you ever watch it to the end, you notice Leonard and Penny's life is a little boring. But then, looking back on it today, they're happy. They're just comfortable with one another,
Hashtag spoiler alert if you haven't finished The Big Bang Theory.
Yes, yeah. But, no, but it seemed their life seems kind of boring. But, so I always wanted a little bit more adventure in my life.
I always liked how that laser would chase you.
This is the only time in the game that actually happens.
What's also neat, there's a certain point where it, can't reach you. I guess it's not. Never mind. Maybe I'm thinking of another game, but every now and then they have the lasers that they design them so that they only have a certain level of low point, so you can almost sit under them while the laser just sitting there trying to get you. It's like, you can't get me, you can't get me. Oh, you can get the hair on my head, but you can't get me. Of course, Sly logic is you touch the hair on my head and I'm dead.
Well, I like the laser system in this game though, because if it's yellow lasers, you're good. If you touch the yellow lasers, then you set off the alarm, and you can get touched by the yellow lasers, but then they turn to red, and then you can get hit. Want to know what's funny? I actually went through the whole first world without setting off an alarm, and then I started the second world, first level of the second world, and I set off 3 alarms.
We should also destroy the alarm back there too. If the alarm... walrus guards. Their idea of stopping the criminal is body slam him. They're the Murrays of the criminal world.
They're also the Murrays of Sly 1, because Murray in Sly 1 really isn't even Murray.
Yeah, that seems weird. I guess young Murray wasn't as,
I think they were still trying to figure out what they wanted to do with the character.
Yeah, that was kind of always the hardest thing with Murray is, you have this hippo, but we really don't know what to do with him. He's a big guy, and he likes cookies. And apparently peanuts, according to the, layer. But, I mean, it's there's really no backstory for him. One of the things I love about 3 is they really develop into Murray's backstory.
Yeah. They at least give him a backstory, at least,
Yeah.
Other than the orphanage,
Yeah, because, I mean, the orphanage is everybody's kind
of
story.
I think the idea behind the good idea behind, a Baby Sly game would be that you missed one clue.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Right there.
Yeah, I know.
I was wondering if we were going to go back and get it.
Of course, I got the vault on the first run, which is kind of a pain in the ass in the next level, which we will not see in this episode.
Gonna cut you short.
Yeah.
We'll cut short. Yeah. I have no idea how that sounds on voice recording software, so if it's ear rape to you listeners, I'm technically not sorry, but I am for your ears.
Here's another vault.
So I guess you could say Sly is a vault hunter.
Yes. Sly. You notice they have the same art style.
Yeah, they do. Borderlands and Sly does have, well, this Sly at least has a very similar.
Well, they are all cell shaded, so.
And that's one of the things that really made these games probably look good too, is just the cell shade. Cell shade.
Yeah. The color palette, the cell shade. To me, it was a mixture between comic book and film noir.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about... That was the appeal to the Sly series for me. it wouldn't have been the same without the film noir elements.
And they really hit on that too, especially with like the introduction to the levels.
Yeah.
So it was Sly Cooper and the gang in the Tides of Terror.
In this game, it's just Sly Cooper in.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
By the way, do you remember the most pain in the ass mini game of the entire Sly series?
Mini game?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you calling as mini game?
Things you had to do to get something done.
For me, it was always the crypts in Sly 2.
Well, for me, today, I mean, not in this episode, but in these recording sessions, you will see the most pain in the ass levels for me.
And it's
But anyway, the episode's about to end, so yeah, you go ahead and say what you're saying because I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this bit.
You gonna cut that out in post? No, we can cover it later.
No, but you say what you were gonna say.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
But anyway, thanks for watching. Next episode, we're going to continue Sir Raleigh's exploring Sir Raleigh's hideout.
This was your favorite YouTuber, Justinian the Great, and his favorite asshole friend, Sam the Car Guy. Signing out.